A couple of weeks ago, I attended FinCon, which is a conference for personal finance content creators or financial coaches, people working in the financial space. I actually uploaded a vlog to my lifestyle channel if you are interested in seeing how my time was at that event. But the conference is 3 days long, and each day you can choose which sessions you want to attend, so whatever piques your interest. So if you are a YouTuber, there could be a couple of sessions on growing your YouTube channel or growing your email newsletter, or specifically for those who are financial coaches, so on and so forth. And I attended Kelsa Dickey's session, and she is a financial coach herself, but she also teaches people how to become financial coaches. She is awesome. She has a great podcast. But during her session, she shared this slide, and it says, financial stress is the number one cause of stress in the US. Household debt is at an all-time high as of Q4 2024. And then the personal savings rate is at just 1.4%. An all-time low. This is as of July 2025. And I wanted to dig into each of these just to kind of fact check. So I searched the number one cause of stress in America for 2025, and these are the results. So number one cause of stress for 2025 is job insecurity and economic uncertainty, which is definitely tied to personal finances. That first point that she had on her slide is probably from 2024. Usually these aren't released until sometime into the new year. So this may not, it says for 2025, but it does say financial stress, many people ranking finances as the number one stress in their lives. And I see this here from CNBC. This was posted in February 2025. 73% of Americans rank their finances as the number one stress in life. This was from a Capital One CreditWise survey. And then let's see what current household debt is at. Federal Reserve Bank of New York. All right, so it says Q2 2025. Total household debt increased by $185 billion to hit $18.39 trillion in the second quarter. What else? Mortgage balances grew by $131 billion. Auto loan balances also increased, rising by $13 billion. Is credit card on here? HELOC balances increased. Student loan balances edged up. Aggregate delinquency rates remained elevated in the second quarter. On her slide, she had about that same figure, so 18.4 trillion in Q4 of 2024. And honestly, I think in Q1 of the new year, typically overall debt decreases, and then it goes back up. But I do remember hearing about that stat back in 2024, early on in 2025, and saying how overall debt increase like an all-time high, the highest amount ever. And this is for United States specifically, by the way. And then let's search personal savings rate in US. And let's do 2025. Oh, not 29.25. Her slide says 1.4%. On here, it says 4.4% according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Let's see what we've got here. Personal saving was $985.6 billion in July, and the personal savings rate, which is personal saving as a percentage of disposable personal income, was 4.4%. And going back to that, I saw something about the personal savings rate in the US has been relatively low in the years since 2020. And that definitely checks out. It honestly really kills me to see this. I am just one person, but truly, I know I make these TikTok Tuesday videos, and this is kind of for my audience that they are already financially set. Maybe you still watch my numbers, my journey, which I really appreciate, but when I put out educational content on YouTube, you may not need that because you are already, you're kind of like me, where you are set with your finances, you have your systems in place, your routines in place, and you don't really need to learn more about finances. So that's what these videos are for. But I still want my YouTube channel to be a place for people to come, beginners, those who are experienced, more advanced, whatever it may be. But really, I just want people to be able to come to my channel and ask any personal finance question, and I am able to answer it. So what should I do about my emergency fund? I have a video about that. Should I consolidate my debt? I have a video about that. How do I even start paying off my debt? I have a video about that. I want you to come here and have all of this available to you for free. And obviously, I'm not the only creator out there talking about personal finances, and people have to find who resonates with them. But you would think and you would hope that with all of this access now, that this free access at that finances would be improving. And I know that there's so much more that goes into it, the economy, politics, jobs, all these different things. But you would think that finances would be improving, not going backwards. And this is so needed. All of this is so needed. And financial literacy, just better financial habits, being more transparent with finances, ease of access, it's truly so important. And I do hope that with time, we start to see things improve. That is still my mission with this YouTube channel overall. And over the next few months, I'm going to be focusing more on investing, specifically like how to. So, those people on TikTok who are commenting like, okay, but nobody shows how to do this, which people do. They're just saying that, you got to be resourceful and search for those things, which I had said that in one of the TikTok Tuesday videos. And this girl commented that it was like icky that I said that, but I don't know, her comment didn't make sense. Anyways, at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure that I have the content out there. So it's like, how do you open a Roth IRA with Vanguard? I will show you. How do you invest your money in Vanguard? I will show you. So all of that is to come. But again, I am one person and I can't force people to listen to me. I can't force people to make better decisions around finances. I also can't control the economy as a whole. So, if somebody is losing their job, that's different. There's so much more that goes into it. I understand that, but I do think a big part of it are the choices that you make. Life choices, including partner choices, where you choose to live, the home that you buy, the car that you buy, and what you do with your life, like your career, side hustles, all these different things, and then the financial habits that you develop along the way. Unfortunately for these folks that we are about to watch, I searched money struggles on TikTok. They are still struggling. These are all going to be from the last couple to few months. It's definitely going to be 2025. So let's check them out.
Y'all, I'm parked in front of Dollar Tree because I'm about to go in there and get some essentials. But before that, I honestly just had the only crash out because I had stopped to get gas, right? And I'm really in a place in my life where I'm really budgeting my finances because I just don't got it like that. I'm in a real crunch, survival, financial fucking rut. And I know it's not forever, but this is just a chapter I'm in. And as much as I try to be positive sometimes, it's really hard. It's really hard to be in a financial survival mode when you don't know what your next move is. You don't know where your next resource is coming from because it fucking makes you hypervigilant. And when you're hypervigilant, you can't relax, your brain can't shut off, and you can't stop worrying. And that shit just drains all your energy. Having to worry all the time drains your energy. And I understand that people are oh, pray. And don't get me wrong, I pray. But when I'm about to take a shit and I don't know when the next fucking slice of paper toilet is coming from, that's real life 3D shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it's a really difficult place to be in. And so with that being said, I had $25 in my Apple Cash card. And so I was all right, bet I'm gonna go to the gas station. I'm gonna get $15 of gas. And then the rest, I'm gonna take to get a little bit of essentials at Dollar Tree. And when I asked him for 15 regular, he had put gas in my car and it charged my whole shit. And I just stood there because I'm not trying to crash out in front of this man, but I'm fuck. I literally don't have anything else. My regular account is negative. Fuck. I have no toilet tissue. I have no, I need stuff for the house. I don't have water. I don't, oh my God. So he was oh, it charges you temporarily. It's going to refund you. So I literally drove off and I parked on this random street and I just cried. I just cried. I let it all out. I couldn't even, it wasn't even one of those boohoo cries. It was just one of those silent cries where the tears just come down and you're just overwhelmed. You just shut down. And within a couple of minutes, I got $11 back. Thank God. And so with that being said, I'm about to go into the Dollar Tree and I'm about to get, whatever essentials I can with that. But y'all, this is not okay. This is not normal. And I share this not because I want to give a sob story, not because, I'm asking for help or anything like that. Because honestly, I'm a person that has a very hard time receiving help. And that's not even my gist. It's just to shine a light for other people that are going through this shit, because I know that I'm not one of one. And it's not even like, oh, you can tell somebody like get a job. Most of the jobs right now, most of the jobs are not paying enough for you to cover rent, for you to cover bills, and for you to be able to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. And I don't know where anybody else lives, but I live in New Jersey. It's super fucking expensive on like the Northeast. Like, it's the fact that other people live like this, because like I said, I know I'm not one of one. This shit is insane. And the fact that like it's only gonna get worse, and this economy is only getting worse. Like, I understand, like I said, this is just a chapter. Like, I'm in my last year of grad school, so I know I'm gonna have a career next year. But the fact that like not many people are in my position and probably, you know, like have kids, have way more responsibilities than I do, and they have to live like this, it's fucking horrible. And it's depressing. And I think a big issue with like mental health and depression in this country is probably because people can't take care of themselves, and people know that. It makes you feel like a second-class citizen. It makes you feel like shit. It makes you feel like a bad person, and it makes you feel like you're not enough, and that's a shitty feeling. And it just makes me sad. It makes me sad that as a country we advance as much as we have, but there's so many people that are like falling between the cracks. And I don't know if anything will ever be done about that, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, I had to share because this shit is hard. And if you're going through this, I'm really sorry. And honestly, I wouldn't wish this on nobody. For
a lot to unpack here. This was a hard watch. I felt the stress of what she is feeling as she was explaining it, and just, yeah, I can really empathize with her on this. And this is hard to see. Unfortunately, there isn't much that we can do about this. I think this is just the importance of, you know, looking out for yourself and doing what you need to do. You know, be nice to other people, of course, and help your friends, help your family, not financially, but just in general, like, be a good person, right? But you do need to look out for yourself. I know I always say this, but in case you don't know what I mean by that, it's all of these things that I constantly talk about. Get out of debt. These companies, as much as I love using my credit cards and getting my cash back and all of this, they're not good companies at the end of the day. And I know and I understand that, because these interest rates are insane. And if you charge $1,000, that turns into $5,000. That could take you 10 plus years to pay off if you're just doing the minimum payments because of the interest. And I feel like this is a good fit for that phrase: if you can't beat them, join them. Invest your money. Do what you got to do to get your money up, within reason, of course. I don't want anybody doing anything that's unlawful or stealing, or y'all know. I don't know. I'm going into great detail with that, but you get what I mean. Like, you've got to really, really put in the effort at this point, because they are trying to, one, push out that middle class. Like, the poor are going to increase in this country, and the wealthy are getting wealthier. And honestly, what I think we need is more wealthy people, more good people to be wealthy. She had also mentioned mental health, depression, and that being related to financial stress. As I was just talking about and looking at, financial stress is the number one stressor in America. And I do really think that people, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but there's some places where people are really friendly, of course, and most people are decently, they're just decent when you're interacting with them. But if you're on the road or you're going to a store and you come across these really like nasty people, I think it's because they're just so miserable because of finances, because of jobs, because of all these things. Like, it is just expanding and growing, unfortunately. There are some people in the comments saying like America is the problem, capitalism is the problem. I don't think it's just America, y'all. Like, more developed countries are, like, if you look at England, if you look at Australia, like, I don't think it's necessarily any better there. But yeah.
So I was on the way to take my 4 and my 7-year-old to school today, and today was my 4-year-old's first day of pre-K. And I looked down and realized that my gas light was on, so I stopped at the gas station, take the kids in to get some gas. And we've been struggling this week. We had a lot of bills come out, and on top of that, my car tore up, so had to pay to have that fixed. And I thought I had $15 left on my card, and I have a whole line of people behind me. So I swipe my card, it declines. And I'm like, oh my God, let me try another card. And swipe that card, it declines. And I could tell that the cashier lady was getting frustrated with me, and there was literally like 10 people behind me. And I really didn't know what to say. So before I could say anything, a gentleman behind me says, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it. And I was so humiliated. All I could say was, I'm so sorry, thank you, with my head down, and grab my kid's hands and go out the door. Like I said before, I'm 4 months postpartum. I'm just now getting back into work. I have a small cleaning business that I've had to put on hold so I could stay home with my baby. The first few months, I'm just now getting back into that. But these last few months have been a struggle. And it's a really shitty feeling as a 30-year-old mom that I couldn't put $15 worth of gas in my car. And I'm not posting this for sympathy. I'm not posting this to ask for money. I'm posting this because this is real life shit for so many people, and a lot of people don't want to come forward about what they're going through because they're embarrassed. So I'm here to be that light for you guys. But this is real life shit for a lot of people, and my life is not always glamorous. My life is not always happy rainbows, and I'm not going to come on here and pretend like it is, because it's not. I'm not one of those lucky individuals that had family pass them down wealth or land or cars. Every little thing I've had, every shitty vehicle I've owned, I have worked my butt off for. And all I know is I'm about to work my ass off to make sure that that never happens again. Is it the first time it's happened? No, it's not the first time it's happened. But I'm to a point where I am tired of scraping by. I'm tired of just getting by, and I want to live comfortably. And I'm about to work my ass off these next few months to make sure that's going to happen. I really, really hope this TikTok thing works out for me. I really do. I've been working really hard on here. I've been staying super consistent. I've been busting my butt on this app, and I'm praying, manifesting, and speaking it into existence that this is going to be a fruitful passive income for me, and I'm just going to keep going. I think my life is about to hit a turn point, and I'm about to be going on a different path, and I think TikTok was placed in my life to help me on that road there.
I do hope that works out for her. I think this is a tough situation to be in. I am gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here, okay? Just based off of like this one video that I watched of hers. I know people want children, and that's great. Like, have children if you want them. But she has multiple children, it sounds like. She said she's holding her kid's hand, so I don't know if there's like 2 of them, 3 of them. She just had a baby. So, but truly, it is so important to look at your financial situation before having children. And, you know, maybe you have 1 child, but then you have a newborn baby. So you already had a child, were probably struggling financially, and then you chose to have another child. Like, these babies don't just come from nowhere, you know? So I don't know. I personally just wouldn't want to be put in that situation. I think having children is it is a large expense at the end of the day, is, you know, and that is with things going smoothly. And then something else that stood out to me are her tattoos. And I'm not saying these look fairly old. So this is just me thinking of a conversation that I recently had. And this is coming from me with a little bit of tough love. Because, all right, so I know people in my life that they are covered in tattoos. And these are recent tattoos. But they are struggling financially, and they have a whole bunch of debt, considering bankruptcy. They also have children. This actually also happened with a client recently, spending a lot of money on a tattoo, despite having quite a bit of debt. So from the outside looking in, as you know, me from an outside perspective, and me being the way that I am, I'm like, hey, what you're telling me is you're prioritizing tattoos or this tattoo over a little bit less stress in your financial situation, aka paying off some debt or saving some money. Now, I'm not saying that that's what this woman did. I have no idea about this woman, but I have seen this in real life. So sometimes people will say like, oh no, that's not, like, we're not doing it. It's not my fault. But sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, okay? And if you are wanting to have children, just try your best to be prepared for it. And then if you have 1 or 2 and you're really struggling financially, I would, try to do what you can to prevent having a 3rd or 4th or whatever. Am I crazy for thinking these things or saying these things, y'all? Like, please let me know. Personally, I don't think so. On my channel, I do try to be careful with what I say, because no matter what, like I can't please everybody. Like, at the end of the day, you can't really have an opinion on YouTube. But this is getting serious. This is finances. Personal finances are becoming such a problem. And I know, as I keep saying, like, I know that there's bigger things behind it, but there are also, like, there's so many personal choices that are made in between those bigger things that contribute to the problem as well.
Bro, all I ever think about is money. Same. Like, I'll be in the shower trying to relax. All of a sudden, my brain's like, how are you going to afford June, dummy? I can't even enjoy a breath of fresh air anymore. I'll inhale and be like, oxygen. Wonder how much that's going to cost in 5 years. No, literally. I opened my banking app this morning and it said, are you sure? Not even a number, just a concern. Mine showed an ad for donating plasma. Like, that's the solution? Sell my blood so I can afford Chipotle? Dude, I walked into a Whole Foods yesterday. Took a look at the prices, walked right back out. I looked at my fridge and it looked back at me like, you better manifest dinner. I went on a date last week. Almost cried when she ordered a second drink. Bro, I don't even need a girlfriend. I need a girl with a Costco membership. At this point, I'm not even chasing dreams. I'm chasing coupons. Dreams don't have discounts. I miss being a kid, man. Just not worrying about anything. Now I'm out here Googling how to make $10 last 4 days. Bro, I had a point last week where I seriously considered becoming a monk. Same, I was like, robes, free food, no taxes? Starting to look like luxury. Honestly, peace, quiet, nobody asking you, what do you do for work? Sign me the hell up. If they let me keep DoorDash and YouTube, I'm in.
I have a friend who is a monk. He ordained as a monk back in 2017 is when he went to Thailand. I met him at a meditation center, Buddhist temple. I've known him since 2016, and he's remained a monk out in Thailand all this time. He comes to the States sometimes. It's definitely a commitment. Like, it's a huge change in life, but you do get food provided to you, everything provided to you. So obviously this is just a skit put together by this creator, and I am going to keep this one in because I want to read some of the comments. Had to pay a fine, and now I'll be having water soup for 3 weeks. I just go to the grocery store to look at the food at this point. Being a kid again sounds great. $1,200 a month just to drive my car is crazy. Oh no, cars are a whole nother issue. It's crazy out there with cars. Welcome to Canada. They do charge for oxygen, carbon tax, and rain tax in Toronto. Interesting, I did not know that. Paid my phone bill, now I'm eating ice soup for the next week. I keep seeing ice soup or like water soup come up in these comments. I completely forgot to fit June into my budget. Somebody said, yeah, money noise never stops. Honestly, it doesn't. Even when you're fine with your finances, it doesn't stop for me. I am constantly thinking of finances. I hope one day it does stop. I'm not saying I'm financially stressed, but I think about money often. So getting out of debt is one thing. Like, that was like the main thing I thought about and focused on when I was on that journey. But then it kind of just shifts. Like, okay, now I'm saving for this and saving for that. I want to invest this. Like, how can I get to all of these goals? How can I increase my income? All these different things. So I'm not financially stressed, but money noise, it has not gone away for me. I don't think it ever does, to be honest, because you kind of just chase the next thing. So maybe if I had like several $1 million, would it go away? I don't know. There's people in the comments who apparently have millions of dollars, so y'all tell us. Money noise is a good word for it, though, because it's not necessarily money stress. It's just thoughts all the time about finances.
Please tell me I'm not the only one. My partner and I are currently struggling with our income. I mean, there's no other way to put it. We are having a hard time making money. My partner was laid off from his career job in February 2025. He spent 2 months unemployed and then got a 6-month contract position that expires in 4 weeks. He's currently applying and interviewing for jobs, but it's a tough job market and he hasn't landed anything yet. I've been employed all year, but I'm an entrepreneur. My income has really gone down this year compared to previous years. We're very lucky in that we have spent the last decade of our lives saving and investing. So we each have emergency funds, we each have retirement investments, but right now, the month-to-month income in our lives, it's a problem. I definitely feel a little embarrassed, like, why is making money so hard? But then also I'm like, I don't know, babes, life in 2025 is looking real hard for a lot of people, and I'm people. I haven't wanted to talk about it on this channel because this is a channel about personal finance. And honestly, it seems like every single personal finance creator, except for me, is really high income. And honestly, I am super thrilled for them, a little jealous, but super thrilled for them. And that's something that I hope for myself. But the reality is right now, I'm not high income. We're about to be a one income household, and that income is not high. That's a little secret I've been keeping that's been making me low-key depressed and definitely been burning me out. But now it's like, okay, I've accepted it, and where do we go from here? I've been low income before. In fact, I lived at the poverty line for my county when I lived in Texas. So I'm really good at managing my money. The real thing that I have to start doing is making more money. There's a lot of opportunities to do that, especially as a content creator. So I'm looking forward to really diving into that. And my partner is applying for jobs. He is going to find something. I don't know when, hopefully soon, but we're two able-bodied, college-educated adults who don't mind hard work. So I know fundamentally we're going to be okay. It's just we're in the scary gray space right now. But I know I can't be the only one who is struggling.
Okay, this sounds exactly like what like my thought process around this. When I share my financial updates, in every video related to that, I talk about how I want to increase my income, how I'm actively working on it, how I'm pitching to brands. I can't tell you how many, it's like applying for jobs really in like the entrepreneurial space. So I have been trying to do these things. So when people say that making money is easy, I have always disagreed with that because yes, there's tons of opportunity out there, but it's not something that's just like, oh yeah, I put that out there, so now I'm going to get it 100%. It's going to happen. Even in the space that we're in now with like all these different apps, the content creation, social media, we do have a lot of opportunity, but it doesn't just make it a super easy, seamless process. And also she mentioned how there are other creators who seemingly make so much money, like almost effortlessly on these apps. And I see the same thing, and I do the same thing where I compare myself. I'm like, oh my God, why not me? But then I'm like, if them, why not me? In more of a positive way. Like if they can do it, I can do it. And that, you know, I was talking about how I was at FinCon. I definitely felt that way. So to see people who are creating content similar to mine, or even like my peers, my friends that are making way more money than I am, you start to feel a type of way. There's this comparison, you know, and this is getting a bit off topic, but I do have to remind myself, like 10 years ago, if 22-year-old me saw what I was doing at 32, I would be so happy. This is my dream. This is what I wanted to do. Am I making the money I want to make yet? No. But like she's talking about, I'm not afraid of hard work. We're not afraid of hard work, and I will get to where I want to, or I will get very close, you know? And my now fiance, he was also laid out. This time last year, he had lost his job. So he was unemployed for, I think 4 months or 5 months. And then he got his job in December of 2024, luckily. But that took a lot of effort on his part. Like he was interviewing left and right, networking. So yeah, it can get tough out there. So yeah, I really resonate with this girl. It says Cara Explores Money. I gave her a follow. Maybe I'll have to connect with her and be like, hey, I'm literally in the same boat. At the end of the day, no matter what position you're in, if you work a 9 to 5, if you work like part-time, if you're an entrepreneur or you do content creation, you're not alone, you know? You're not alone.
So I feel like I'm drowning, financially drowning. So back in April, I had a baby and I decided to take 9 weeks off. Now I have had 4 children now working at the same company. So I kind of knew how things went. I took 9 weeks thinking that my insurance was going to pay 8 weeks. But because they run it under short-term disability, you have to be off the week, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's why I took 9. Anyway, long story short, they only paid me for 6. And when they do pay you, it's like a max of $250 a week. So when you go and you have to pay back your insurance on a bi-weekly basis and the taxes that come out of there, you're getting basically $200. So I was not paid very much. The last 3 weeks that I was off, I was paid nothing. Everything that I had saved from my taxes, gone. I spent all of it, everything. That also meant that I was like I'm a month behind on my car payment. I have a few credit card bills that like I was paying the bare minimum and I got behind on those. And so now everybody and their brother is calling me and wants their money and wants their money and wants their money and wants their money and late fees and this and that. And it just adds up. It's a spiraling ball, right? So here I was making progress, and now I'm retracted in progress. And then just the other day, my TV broke, and now I need to buy a whole nother TV. And so there's that. And now there's school supplies and the fairs coming up that I take my kids to every year. And I'm paying extra money because I want to send my middle daughter to Washington, D.C. this next spring. So it's financially drained. I don't know how any of you get ahead. I don't know how any of you have a savings. I don't know how any of you get ahead in life at all financially, but I just can't do it.
So TV breaks? There's no TV in the house then, if you're struggling financially. That's my thought on it, unfortunately. And this first comment that I'm seeing here says, these are all things people need to think of when they decide to have a child. It sucks, but it's the truth. And as we already talked about, that, yeah, unfortunately, these are just things you have to think about. And she decided to have a fourth child. A fourth. She didn't mention her children's father in this video. But was he bringing in income? What does that situation look like? A lot of the things she was listing are not needs. It's not oh, how am I going to buy groceries tonight? It's I can't let my daughter travel, or I can't take my kids to the fair. I can't get a TV. I would say those are definitely not necessary. I'll just leave it at that. Just think before decisions, y'all. This one is a series of life choices.
Always keep it honest over here. So hey, hi, hello. We are a broke family of 4. You guys ever get all your change, go to the bank, change it in just so you can have gas in the car to make it to where you need to go? Let's go see how much we have. Okay, we got $15.27. Quarters for Aldi's tomorrow. Let's go throw this 15 in the gas tank and see if it gets us enough gas. We're at the gas station. I'm going to show you where we're at and where we're going to end with. Current amount of gas. After $15, this is where we're at. And you guys are probably thinking, why are you sharing this with us? Because I want you to know that we don't have it all put together. We're broke. We're pinching pennies. And you're safe here if you also relate to that. Now, my husband gets paid tomorrow, and it is in the budget for gas, so I will fill up tomorrow. We just quite literally had no money, and I have to pick my oldest up from school, and she has to get to and from soccer practice tonight. So just know that if you're struggling, you are not alone, and we may look like it's great, but financially, we're drowning, and we're trying to get ourselves back afloat. That's all. But now we've got gas.
Back when I was struggling with my finances, so this was, back in 2017, there was one time that I will never forget. I was working at an urgent care. I worked front desk at an urgent care, and my checking account was negative. So I overdrafted my account, and I had $11 of cash on me I can't remember what it was from. Maybe I sold something, or I just had it. And there was a Bank of America across from the urgent care that I worked at. So I remember before going to work that day, I went to the ATM, deposited my $11 or whatever it was, and my account was still negative. And I had kept that receipt for a long time. I swear I still had it, but I can't find it. I thought I still just kept it in my car somewhere. But I knew that day, I kept that receipt because I was like, one day this is going to make a good story. I knew I would get out of that. And the way that she's talking about her situation, I don't love to hear that, saying we're broke, we're struggling. I know that that's kind of the reality of it, but I do think words are powerful. I'm not huge on manifestation and the woo-woo side of things. No shade to you if you are, that's fine. But I do believe that there is power in words, and by saying we're broke, I'm broke, repeatedly, and putting that out there, I do think it kind of just leads to more brokenness. And I hope that things get better for them. I am happy that she's openly talking about this. And, I think that based off of, it sounds like they're budgeting in these things. So based off of that, I think they will get to a better place financially. She did mention that she has to drive her daughter to soccer, which kids sports get so expensive. I've seen that so much, hockey, soccer, dance, and how much people have to spend on all of that. So, yeah, I know that really, really adds up.
You know what the hardest thing about trying to save money and not eat out is having to eat shit that you genuinely don't want to eat. There is nothing that bothers me more than having to eat frickin' spaghetti. I hate spaghetti fresh, and I definitely hate spaghetti the next day. But I keep telling myself that these sacrifices will pay off with time. But listen, this is not easy. Like, I freaking hate this shit.
The sacrifices will pay off in time, for sure. Like, in order to get better with your finances, you usually do have to sacrifice some things in life. Not liking spaghetti is crazy. I love spaghetti. One of my like go-to meals, this isn't healthy or anything, this is like a comfort food for me, and I've talked about this on my lifestyle channel, are butter noodles. Just noodles with a bunch of butter, salt, pepper. I love it so much. It is delicious. I could eat a whole box of noodles like that, and I could eat spaghetti, that's for sure. And as leftovers. I love leftover spaghetti. Somebody did ask her, then why did you make spaghetti? And she said, because I don't just cook for myself, and this is a highly requested dinner in my house. See, because most people like spaghetti, and that's what people are saying in the comments too. Eating spaghetti daily, or like noodles, anything like that, is more affordable, but I feel like overall it's not like the best thing to be eating for your health. Not every day, or just not like a huge portion of it. In order for me to feel full from spaghetti, I have to eat a ton of it. I really enjoy eating home-cooked food though. Y'all know I really don't like to spend on food out. It makes me feel extremely guilty, and like I could have just made it better at home for most things. And if I do go out to eat, it's usually things like Chipotle or Cava, because I like that it's still, in my opinion, overpriced, but it's better than spending like $23 on one person. But also there's like many ingredients that go into it that would not make it like feasible to do from home for a cheaper price. You know what I'm saying? Unless you were to make a ton of it and I just need like one meal.
This is a genuine question. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny or anything like that. But genuinely, how are you guys affording life? Because I don't have kids, and me and my man don't have kids. We both go half on the mortgage and the bills, and we're still barely making it by. So I really don't understand how like people with children, or even one child, like, how are you guys affording life? Like, I don't, like, where are you getting the money from? Like, do you guys have like 3 or 4 jobs? Do you have like side hustles? Like, are you taking out loans? Like, do your parents have money? Like, I know everyone can't have a good paying job, like, because majority of people that I know, you know, we have average jobs. So where are you guys getting this money from? Did you guys like save money from, you know, when things were better in the world? Or like, genuinely, I really am asking, I really want to know, like, how are you guys affording life right now?
I really want to know what her income is, her and her husband, because I find that she has no kids, just like our situation that we're in. We're not yet married, but living with somebody else, whether that's a spouse, a partner or not, like you could have a roommate, and like splitting things is a much easier way to live. The only thing that we split though is the mortgage and then the utilities, as well as like travel and stuff. We actually really prioritize travel in our life. Like we travel 2, 3, 4 times in the year. And I wouldn't say that we're like super frugal when we're traveling. It's just something that we prioritize, and everything else we just pay for on our own. But both of us are pretty like, I don't know. Like, we're not high earners. Neither of us makes over 6 figures. So when people ask this and they're in a similar situation to myself, I'm just so curious. Like, what are you spending your money on, and what's your income? Because I don't know, maybe she has debt, maybe they have debt, and like that's part of the reason too. But like, I had debt, got out of it, and that's, you know, everybody has a different situation. So yes, there are things that could have made life more expensive for her. It depends where she lives too. I wouldn't say that we're like thriving. We're not rich, wealthy, but like life is good. we make enough money to save, to invest, to travel, to buy some things that we want, but there's not like I don't know if people are overspending on like Starbucks and shoes and clothes, and I don't know. Somebody commented no Shein, like that store, Shein, Shine, wherever you say it, Starbucks, thrifting only, and OMAD, which OMAD is 1 meal a day. And this creator, responded, no Shein is going to be hard this fall. So that tells me, like, okay, you're spending on things that you probably don't need, which is okay, you can fit that in, but I don't know. I just am genuinely curious of, she's asking, genuinely curious, how do you afford life? I'm genuinely curious what she makes and how much she's spending, like what's she buying. Okay, let's just do a couple more.
This is way off topic and has nothing to do with anything that I post on here, but is anybody else just struggling, like financially? Seriously. I was working 2 jobs and still barely making it by. Like, what do you do? Like, I have a boyfriend who also makes a decent amount of money and we're still like barely making it. And we're trying to buy a house this year. And it's like, how are we going to buy a house if we aren't able to save money, because all of our money goes to bills and groceries and the car payment and our rent and the babysitter? Just, what do you do? Does anybody have any advice or anything? Like, am I the only one that's struggling even though I make a decent amount of money? And so does my boyfriend. Like, together we should be able to do things, but we're not. Like,
She's going to talk for another minute. I don't know what she's going to say, but again, similar to the last one that we watched, I think for me, a house is out of reach right now. And until I get my income up, then I will start saving for that. But I think homeownership is a little bit overrated. Like, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I want to own a home myself and maybe a couple of properties. But I think it can really trap people. And, you know, if you don't own a home, it can make people feel really behind in life. My answer to this, though, is work on increasing your income. Bigger choices in life, you want to try to make the best choice. Thinking of finances behind that choice before actually making the decision. So your life partner, the house that you move into, or the apartment that you move into and rent, children, the car that you choose to buy, where you choose to live, all these different things should be thought about. Make getting out of debt a priority, especially high interest debt. And if you can avoid going into further debt, then even better. And once you pay off your debt, don't get back into the cycle of debt. Save your money, invest your money, be aware of where your money is going. That's kind of just it. I know that's a super oversimplified version, but that's my answer to it. That's how you do it. Okay, one more.
I feel like the lack of money that people have now is really just starting to compound anxiety, depression, anger. They're short fuse. People are just getting, it's even worse to me this year than it was last year, but fuses are getting shorter. You see people that any kind of issue comes up, whether they're in a store, just anywhere, people are just automatically, they're getting the shakes, they're getting angrier faster. People are not having the amount of patience they used to have. It really comes down to emotional intelligence, and people are not able to manage this anymore. And I'm starting to see people break. I see people constantly all day, and it just seems like it's starting to just kind of compound. And I don't know where this is going to go. Bills are not getting cheaper. Nobody's getting paid more money. Matter of fact, companies out there are quietly reducing things like perks, benefits, bonuses. So in a way, you're actually making less money probably than you might have made in the last several years. And at the same time, everything just continues to go up. Aggregate numbers, I bet everything put together, you're probably almost double your expenses that you were before COVID if you add up every single bill you have. I just don't know where this goes. People just people are not making eye contact with you out in public. Less and less people are smiling. people just seem on edge. They seem agitated. They're just in their own world. And it's like everybody's got their brain on a hyperactive thing, you know, about stress, about money. And man, the lack of money is just going to break people. You know, money doesn't buy happiness, but money buys your peace. It buys options. It buys your ability to survive and to enjoy the things around you. And if you ain't got no money, well, everything else around you crumbles. And man, I don't know, man, but people are just getting less and less pleasant to be around, and they're just getting more agitated. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that sees it.
Yep, so we already talked about this. That was it the first video that we watched? Yeah, the first girl crying, and how this really affects your mental health and the stress. It's causing so much anger in a lot of people, and we are seeing this on the streets, at the stores, just interactions with people on a day-to-day basis. And it's not like this everywhere you go, you know, but yeah, I definitely have noticed this, and it makes me sad. I know that jobs are part of the problem as well, because incomes aren't going up, but everything else is, or perks are being cut. And I mean, but sometimes the companies also are struggling financially themselves. So yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna stop this here. But aside from the things that I've already said in this video, I don't know what the solution is exactly. I'm just one person, and you know, if you're watching this as a collection, there is only so much we can do. So I know that when it comes to myself as somebody who, you know, I wouldn't say that I am struggling financially per se, but everybody is dealt a different hand, and I used to struggle financially a lot, and I once I experienced that, I was like, I never want to experience this again. But the truth is, there could be one big disaster that takes that all away. And honestly, a lot of the people that were in this video, they made some choices that have not served them, unfortunately. But we do go through life differently. We all think differently. We had different parents raising us, so I hope that I can continue to get my message out there of like, please focus on your finances. So for myself, I'm going to continue to work on building my income, increasing my income. And obviously I budget regularly. I track my spending. That is a part of my system that really works for me. And there are, you know, every month I go over budget in one category or another, multiple categories. But for the most part, I spend within my means, below my means, and I'm still saving, I'm still investing, and that's not going to stop. And to try to improve other people's finances, I am going to continue to create content on YouTube for free. That is educational, and I will still continue to be a coach. Obviously, there's a paywall behind that, but there are a lot of people who need that, and I'm going to keep at it, you know? But that's it for this video. I do really hope things get better. Let me know what y'all think, but otherwise, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.